I've seen his miracles over and over and over again in my life, but I think this was just a completely different type of situation. My whole body was limp. I just thought, oh my gosh, this is so much worse. It's over. And he said, well, no, that's not it. We were able to kind of find something else that we are concerned about. So he proceeded to tell me that it was a meningioma. And what that meant is there's a tumor on my brain. The likelihood of it being cancerous was low. The bad news was that I had a tumor on my brain and it was growing. All I could hear is words here and there, referral and urgent MRI and surgery options. Little did he know he had kind of lost me at brain tumor, and I couldn't really hear or process anything more. I was just kind of in shock. And in that moment, I remember being so overwhelmed, and I remember God kind of just speaking to me and saying, you may be surprised by this, but I am not, and I'm in control. And I remember in the midst of all of that, just kind of feeling this like peace and stillness. Meanwhile, my health was declining. The migraines were becoming really intense. I had trash cans next to my bed. Days and nights were kind of blurring into one. I didn't know what day it was anymore. And as I was going through one of the pretty much hardest times of my life, the enemy wanted me to believe that God had abandoned me. As that happened, different people would just speak truth into my life. I would get random texts that would say, God loves you. He is gonna get you through this. The night before the appointment to discuss the surgery, I had people, not just my ACC family and my own family, but I literally had groups of people across the country and across continents praying for me. We were overwhelmed by the number of people that united, that shared with their churches. The morning of, everything that could possibly go wrong at the doctor's office did. He had an emergency. He got pulled. People were late. And so we waited for 2 hours, which felt like 2 years. When we actually got called in and met the doctor, he took about a good 10 minutes of silence just reviewing the MRI, and he kept going from page to page and expanding it. And so finally I said to him, are you gonna share anything with us? And he said, I know, I'm sorry, but this is a lot. There's a lot going on your brain. So he turned around and he proceeded to show us, you don't have a brain tumor. You have multiple clusters of brain tumors. It is spread out all over your brain. Each of these clusters have multiple tumors within them. When you visually see that, my whole body was limp. I just thought, oh my gosh, this is so much worse. It's over. He's like, I'm looking at all of these tumors and I'm seeing something I've never really seen before. Every single tumor is beginning to be calcified. Basically, tumors need blood supply, and if they get the blood supply they need, they thrive. However, every single cluster, the blood supplies are cut off. I can't explain how this many tumors have blood supplies cut off. And I was like, okay, so what does that mean? He's like, they're all dying off. My husband and I started screaming, and the doctor started laughing, and he said, you see this cluster right here? And he said, this is a cluster that was calcified probably around 10 years ago. You had this, it got calcified, and you didn't even know about it. He's been healing this for a decade, and I had no clue. This has been a process for years, and he has been doing this, and that's why when I got diagnosed, he literally said to me in that waiting room, you are surprised, I am not. He is the one that got me through those nights and those days where I wanted to give up. He hasn't promised us the solution. He has promised to be there with us through it. And I think something positive or something negative can impact us so much, but I keep relying on the fact that God is the constant, and that my circumstances, that my emotions, that my good day, my bad day, and the bigger perspective, none of that really matters. What matters is, am I living my purpose? Am I glorifying God? Am I doing the best that I can to serve Him? And I do feel like He gave me a new beginning. I mean, I saw His grace, His faithfulness, His mercy in a way that I can never, ever forget.